Afternoon Karak with Aisha Almazmi and Mikhail Atiyah
on Pulse 95.
Hey, welcome to the Afternoon Karak with myself, Mikhail Atiyah, keeping you guys entertained and informed throughout this hour. Boy, has the days gone really dim. It's a little dusty out there. It's cloudy. Even though we just started the season of fall, there's this weird trend going around about the cyclone Shaheen, and hope everyone's doing okay. Inshallah, you're staying safe and sound. But some of the trends that I've been seeing, especially on TikTok, is that people are hoping that the cyclone can edge a little bit closer to the country so that we can get a little bit of that rain action. But I'm telling you guys, be careful what you wish for, because I've also seen some of the footage of the cyclone hitting Oman, and it's really bad. Like, there's landslides, there's floodings all over the place. Don't know if you want to tamper with Mother Nature like that. But again, guys, do be careful and be safe. And again, welcome to the Afternoon Karak. Hope you guys are doing good. What are we talking about today? Well, starting off with a rumor, and I think PlayStation 1 fans, we're talking cult followers of the Twisted Metal franchise. There's rumors going around that there's a potential development for a revival of the Twisted Metal franchise. If you ever played that back on the PlayStation 1 or the PlayStation 2, or even the underrated PS3 game, then I know you'd definitely be excited. There's a lot of rumors about what studio is going to be working on it, and when could we expect an official announcement. Also, for the past couple of months, we've been talking about that Scarlett Johansson lawsuit, about her settlement, being upset with the fact that that Disney kind of threw her off from the contract. She expected to be getting a lot more revenue from theatrical releases, and because of this breach of contract, she sued Disney. Well, luckily enough, or at least weirdly enough, a sort of a hush-hush settlement was taking place between Disney and Scarlett Johansson, so I got all the details for that as well. And for fans of God of War Ragnarok, we recently gotten a chance to see a really lengthy gameplay trailer for it, and I know some fans out there are a little bit upset with the fact that the game got delayed. However, there's actually news that just came out from one of the people involved in the development of this game, who plays Kratos himself, who tells us a little bit about the reason why this game got delayed. And maybe that could ease the frustration a little bit, but it's up to you to decide when I talk about this story. Also, we have our social media competition, a chance for you to win 10,000 dirhams by submitting a drone video less than 60 seconds. I'll tell you guys all about what do you got to do, the criteria, how do you do it. Don't worry, I got you covered. All you got to do is stay locked and stay tuned right here to the Afternoon Karak.
Speculation, gossip, or hoax. Rumor has it.
A PlayStation 1 classic, the Twisted Metal franchise. This franchise has been long dormant for a long time. I remember a long time ago, shout out to my brother Raphael, when we were young kids, we had a PS1. We used to live in Riyadh, and one game that we were always so excited, so stoked to play right after we finished middle school was the Twisted Metal series. I think we had 1, 2, and 3. We just pop in the disc and we can play for hours. And one of the things I remember is we wouldn't even fight each other, we would just actually try to find ways to break down the map and see some of the secret Easter eggs or secret areas that the developers left. It was always such a joy. I remember this one icy map where it kept slowly breaking down the more you would lay destruction on it. Really good times, and I don't think I've felt the same way I felt with Twisted Metal since the PlayStation 2 era with Twisted Metal Black. But this past week, Reports were shared online that claimed Sony is preparing to resurrect its long dormant Twisted Metal franchise. Now, to give you guys a little bit of an idea about what Twisted Metal is, Twisted Metal, it was this sort of like vehicular combat game franchise. It was a genre that peaked over a decade ago, but has seen some renewed interest. And I really want this to be the case, because it's always great when publishers or big game companies can shuffle back into their archive of library, just their archive of intellectual properties, and sort of rejuvenate them and modernize them for today's market. In a report from Video Game Chronicles, the new Twisted Metal game is said to be targeting a free-to-play release structure. In other words, players would be free to access the game and play the game, which would fund itself through optional microtransactions. As you know, this is sort of the norm of today's business model for some games, such as Fortnite, Apex Legends, Warzone, etc. It's easy to see how Twisted Metal's arcade gameplay and quick rounds would suit a free-to-play model. That's also something I can see as well. Something similar to Rocket League, as you know, Rocket League has converted itself to a free-to-play model as well. Now, the decision to build this free-to-play Twisted Metal game is in part due to the rumored developer of this new game. It is said that Lucid Games Studio, the developers of the recent Destruction All-Stars, will be working on this officially. Now, they haven't said anything about it, and this Destruction All-Stars isn't officially free-to-play. It's a PS5 exclusive. It was supposed to launch back in November, but it came out in February. And despite how good of a game it was, it did commercially flop. Not a lot of player base. It sort of died out now. I don't hear too much about this game. But, I mean, maybe this was sort of with this rumor, I'm starting to think that maybe that was the pattern from Sony, that these developers would try to create their own original IP in the same spirit of Twisted Metal, make it arena-based, make it vehicular combat-based. But it seems like now that that's not working, let's pull out an established franchise such as the Twisted Metal. And it would honestly be great if they can tap into that. It is such a well-beloved franchise. I remember the person who worked on it, the creator of Twisted Metal, went on to create the God of War franchise back on the PlayStation 2. So you can tell that there's a really like a really cool legacy behind these games. And I know fans would love to see another Twisted Metal in some shape or form, something for the PlayStation 5, because it's been a while. I haven't touched my console because there's just not a lot of games that are really piquing my interest at the moment. But I want to ask you guys, text me 4215 and Slaughter do you believe in this rumor? Do you think Twisted Metal deserves to come back? Do you think it has a place in today's multiplayer arena? Do you think, or do you feel like it's an outdated genre that peaked back in those old days and really doesn't have a spot in anybody's list? And also I want to ask you, what is a dormant franchise, a game series of some kind that came out really long time ago and you would do anything for it to just come back? Maybe a remake, a remaster of some kind, or a completely new sequel in the series itself. I want to hear from you guys. Join in the conversation. Text me 4215. It's Slaughter Do. Would always love to hear from you guys. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit. Luckily enough, terms of the settlement weren't disclosed, but the settlement itself has been finalized. The lawsuit has been settled, and I got all the details for it. So be sure to stay locked and stay tuned right here for so much more, only here on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It was a couple of months back when Black Widow got released in theaters, but Disney had sort of like a last-minute decision to have the movie not only released in theaters, but also digitally streamed on their Disney Plus Premium Access, where you had to pay $30 extra for it. Now, it seemed like nothing. It just seemed like a normal thing. It's a business decision at a time when things where people still are not so adamant to go to theaters. Theater tickets and revenue isn't as lucrative as it used to be. Going for the digital approach, the hybrid approach, seemed feasible because at least they can garner some subscribers from this, right? However, Scarlett Johansson has said otherwise. 3 months ago, Scarlett Johansson sued Disney over its streaming release of Black Widow, arguing that she stood to lose millions of dollars because her salary was based on the box office performance of the film and not the digital performance. And luckily enough, of recent date, the lawsuit has now been settled. Now, representative of Johansson confirmed the settlement to many media outlets that it's been the settlement has been officially confirmed. While the terms of the settlements don't appear to be public, of course, the stuff always remains hush hush. Deadline cites a source saying that the deal was in the tens of millions of dollars. Both parties have paid a lip service to continue working together, and Johansson even told the Hollywood Reporter that she was happy to have resolved our differences with Disney, and I'm doing like air quotations, that she looks forward to continuing her collaborations with Disney in the years to come. And even the Disney Studios chairman, Alan Bergman, said, "We appreciate her contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we look forward to working together on a number of upcoming projects, including Disney's Tower of Terror." And I mean, this is right here why I start to realize this lawsuit was settled. It's because they can't really remove Scarlett Johansson from the Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise. They're banking on that character, that identity. She's very established to this intellectual property. And, a lawsuit like this normally would have Disney remove those actors and have them completely disassociated with whatever projects that they're working on. But from this statement from the Disney Studios chairman saying that one of the future projects that they're working with her on is the Tower of Terror. I guess this is like a theme park experience that is under the theme of Black Widow, and it has Scarlett Johansson involved in some shape or form. And a lawsuit like this could jeopardize that project. That could jeopardize a lot more than that. And so Disney did what they had to do and just damage control it the best way possible. But a lot of it, again, is just PR and sort of like publicity mush where, oh, we're happy that we settled this and that we're able to work together. No, it's more like, don't cheat, don't breach my contract again, or Scarlett Johansson is gonna throw another lawsuit. But at the same time, I'm glad that the settlement has been resolved. During the lawsuit, Disney said that Scarlett Johansson would be paid $20 million for her role in the film, and then she could earn more from the release of the Disney Plus premium access. However, she did not like this because, again, her contract was based on the salary she'd get from theatrical releases, not digital releases. So this was where the biggest issue arises from this, is that, hold on, you said one thing in the contract and now you're saying something else. And that's why the lawsuit happened in the first place. But again, no surprise, this lawsuit was settled, and I think Scarlett won that round big time because they know how integral her character is in the MCU and future projects. And as we can see, the theme park that the theme park that they were working with, that's based on the Black Widow world, they cannot afford to have these legalities linger for too long. I'm surprised that it got settled within 3 months. Stuff like this can go for a year or two, or it never gets resolved. But Disney knows what's up, and they have to, damage control it while they still can. Scarlett Johansson walked out of that court with a whole lot of cash, and I congratulate her for that. Not that I have any quarrels about it. It's just that it's true. If you have a contract and that contract was breached by your employer, then you have every right to sue and reap the rewards for it. And she certainly reaped the rewards of that settlement. So again, congratulations to Scarlett Johansson. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about God of War Ragnarok. It's been delayed till 2022, and it's gotten a few fans out there a little bit upset, even for me personally. And most of the time I think about, a delay like this is simply because of the development. They really need more time. However, there's actually a different type of hidden truth to it, and it got revealed by the voice actor of Kratos himself, and he tells us a little bit more about why this game got delayed. And you ought to hear this. It's quite interesting. So be sure to stay tuned right here to the Afternoon Karak, only here on Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95.
Last month, Sony teased their most iconic franchise, the God of War Ragnarok, highly anticipated, long awaited by tons of fans, even myself. If anything, I bought a PlayStation 5 in anticipation of this game. I know it's going to be great right from the get-go because I trust the studio, and I trust that the people who work on it are basically pouring their hearts and souls for a game like this. So when Sony teased Ragnarok, the follow-up to the God of War, just last month, Sony Santa Monica announced that it was actually going to be delayed. It was last year they said that it was going to come out in 2021. They showed a logo and everybody got excited, but it was just last month that they said, unfortunately, we've decided to delay the game into 2022. Now, obviously, this has gotten a lot of people thinking, well, the delay is not shocking since the COVID-19 pandemic has caused several games to be delayed and slated for future release dates. It's obvious at this point, and we've gotten used to just all sorts of delays and postponements. It just happens. But according to the voice actor of the main character Kratos, Christopher Judge, it seems that the pandemic might not have been the reason for Ragnarok's new release. Apparently, it has to do with him himself. Christopher Judge says the reason why God of War Ragnarok was delayed was because of me. He went on Twitter talking a little bit more in detail. He says, listen, I need to be forthcoming. This has been approved by no one. To the beloved fandom, Ragnarok was delayed because of me. Back in August 2019, I couldn't walk. Had to have back surgery, both hips replaced and knee surgery, and they waited for me to rehab. No threats. Who do you think you are? He says nothing but love and support, and Sony Santa Monica has never said a word about the delay and what caused it. Studios can be quite inconsiderate, but this company from top to bottom should give us hope. What they did for the crew is way more. And I love this. I love that he goes on to praise Sony Santa Monica for its dedication and compassion, saying that everyone involved with the God of War franchise puts their hearts and souls in every frame you see. And this honestly, it warms my heart. I get goosebumps just a little because it just shows that these studios are more than just a corporation and they're just making games to pump out money. It's a huge, diverse, world-class talent of developers who are working together with so much passion and so much determination and they really believe that when they're creating these games, they're creating they're creating experiences that will always just be remembered and will be adored. And they're absolutely right. God of War 1, the first game, was a huge risk for the studio, a 5-year development cycle where at one point the team almost gave up with the game. Even the president of Sony, who stepped in once to look at the game, and it was before a year or two before the game got released, he said he was horrified. He was horrified with the state of the game. And you have to imagine, for 5 years of complete uncertainty, of taking such a big risk, spending so much money, spending so much talent to prove a point, to prove that you can rejuvenate a franchise like this that has been fatigued over so many years. And surprisingly enough, God of War came out completely out of the water. It was commercially successful and has almost reinstated itself as one of the best video games of the last generation. And we're all just so excited to see the sequel, because I know it's going to improve on everything that game was remembered for and what it was revered for. And so the delay, for me personally, doesn't affect me. And the fact that the voice actor himself for Kratos, Christopher Judge, he personally admitted that it wasn't because of the development behind the game, it's more because of him. You should know, these actors, they don't just do voice acting, they do a lot of motion capture. So there's a lot of physicality with their performance. They have to be there in the studio wearing those mocap suits and actually performing the scenes, because it helps animators with referencing, and they help them with being able to create those scenes in a cinematic manner. A shout out to my brother who's been watching Stargate, the sci-fi series. I don't think he realized until I told him that Christopher Judge was the same person who played as I think this alien character in Stargate. So that's the guy, by the way. I know he probably gets shocked by that, but no, this is really a wholesome story, one that honestly humbles you when you listen about it. And at the same time, I'm not too upset about the delay. I can wait a little bit. My PS5 might collect a little bit of dust, but I know when this game comes out, it's gonna be fire. It's one of those, like, it's gonna be a ritual. I have to sort of like personally get myself ready, because I know it's gonna be an amazing experience, inshallah. But until then, the quote we always use here on the Afternoon Karak, we just have to wait and see. Coming up next, I want to tell you a little bit more about our social media competition. Yes, we're holding competition on Instagram for you to submit a 60-second drone video montage of Sharjah. And if you do that, you might get a chance to win 10,000 dirhams. You want to know more about it, the details, what you got to do, the criteria to winning? Then tune in and I'll tell you all about it right here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Afternoon Karak, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.